Do you struggle with same face syndrome? Well, I have a quick fix for you. Hey everyone, my name is Daniela, or you can call me Nell or Nell Casa, and welcome to my channel. Same face syndrome is something that I see most artists struggle with, and I would like to talk about it. First, I'd like to explain what same face syndrome is for people who have no idea what that is. Same face syndrome is when your characters who aren't related or who aren't intended to look alike end up looking quite similar. And I know you might say,
Hey, it's normal. It happens when you have an art style, right?
well, the answer is no. It is not supposed to be so. So to actually find a solution to a problem, you need to know what that problem is and whether you have that problem. And that leads us to our first step, knowing whether or not you have same face syndrome. I want you to take a look at your most recent illustration. If you can, take away the hair and see if the characters look alike. Do they look alike? If your answer is yes, then you probably have same face syndrome, but if your answer is no, then you don't have same face syndrome. Don't freak out, you're not the only artist who has same face syndrome. Even Disney does. Now you know that you have same face syndrome, we're going to actually try to solve that problem. And what you're going to do now is to look at people's faces. Well, you can't do this in real life because you can't stare at a stranger's face for too long without being labeled a creep, because that's just creepy. So instead of that, you're going to get references on Google or Pinterest and try to observe the different placement of the facial features on each of your references. Feel free to break down the references to better understand the structure of the face. Another thing you can do when you're practicing with the reference is just notice how the eyes have different shapes. You could also get references for the different shapes of eyes and lips and noses and ears and all that good stuff, and you're just learning. And when it's time for you to just draw the different types of facial features, you would just be able to have a lot to work from with your mental library. When you're practicing faces that I would actually recommend you to try and practice as well, and I want to get into this, is Asian faces, because Asian is one race that has really dynamic faces. So you have Chinese people, Japanese people, Korean people, they be having different types of faces, and there's just a whole lot to work from there. You're gonna be learning how to draw monolids, eyes, and all that good stuff. So practicing with Asian people is really top notch because I feel like it would give you maximum results. But nonetheless, everyone has different facial structures and different facial features, so practicing with any race at all or just random people, you would still be learning a whole lot. Once that's done, you can move on to the next step. Practice drawing facial features differently. What I mean by this is that you need to have different variations for each facial feature. You need to have different ways of drawing eyes, ears, noses, mouths, and eyebrows in your art style. This just helps so while you keep to your art style, the faces don't end up looking like oddly similar but unrelated people. While you practice, here's a little exercise to help you. All you need for this is a sketchbook or your tablet or your phone, whatever you feel comfortable drawing on. I literally use my phone for this, so I think any device could work. I want you to make 8 squares of preferably equal sizes. Above the squares, label them triangle, square, circle, and diamond. Those are the basic face shapes we have, so we're going to stick to those. Now you're probably wondering why we have 4 shapes and 8 squares. So the other 4 squares underneath would have the same shape as the squares above them. What we're going to do now is that you're going to start drawing heads on each of the squares. But wait, make sure you space the features differently and use different sizes of each feature because everyone is different. While doing this, feel free to use different variations of eyes, noses, mouths, and eyebrows that we practiced earlier. Even the necks, they could be longer, thinner, fatter, etc. So something I did do when I was drawing my version of this template was just resizing every feature, changing the position, changing the way I drew the eyes, the ears, making it rounder if the face was round. Sometimes I would pair two different shapes with one illustration. I don't know how to put this to make you understand. So like for the circle on, I would like maybe add some sharp shapes here and there just to add a more dynamic and make it look just a nice contrast. As you can tell, when I was practicing with the template, I was like copying the features from just like the face above, take it to the face beneath, and then I would just make some little adjustments, whether to the eyes, to the nose, to the mouth, and to the ears, and I get maximum results. I also changed the spacing of the face and I got maximum results. So yeah, if you go ahead and draw everything from scratch, that is when your results would even be pretty different and you just get the best results. I was also varying the shapes of the lips, the upper and the lower lips, so some will be bigger, some will be smaller, and I feel like it just makes it look a whole lot nicer. You guys, the first illustration I did after like practicing this looked super fluid. It was that illustration of the color palette challenge. So I filmed this video way back, and all the things I implemented in this video, I just like applied it to one illustration, and oh my god, the shapes were super nice. It looked really dynamic, it looked really distinct, and it was just so good. So I recommend that you all should practice this, and if you do practice this, go and make a whole illustration and you would see it would look really nice and possibly different from other illustrations that had same face syndrome. Another tip that I would like to give is that you should draw different expressions, because expressions have a way of making each character look different. Just say like one is making a happy face and one is like crying or like sad. Those two characters instantly look different because they're doing different things, and if you make your expressions more fluid, then your characters are going to look more distinct from each other. Okay, so another hack, I wouldn't call it a tip because it's more like trick. So another hack for overcoming same face syndrome is like giving your characters different skin colors, like varying the skin colors you give your characters. So doing this just tricks the brain into perceiving it as a whole different character, and even if a part of the brain is like, oh my god, this looks pretty similar, I've seen this somewhere, you're just like, it's a different skin color, and you just need to believe that it has a different face. That is the major reason why some people with same face syndrome don't actually know they have same face syndrome, just because all their characters have different skin tones. So doing this kind of like tricks people into thinking that you do not have same face syndrome, and it also tricks yourself into thinking that you do not have same face syndrome. If you pair this with doing the exercise in the practice section, then I feel like you would get maximum results, because you're having like varied skin tones, you're having varied facial features, and it just helps it look a whole lot distinct. Another thing that I did do around the end was to give the face like accessories, and what I mean by this is that you could add like piercings, you could add moles, you could add freckles. All those little things just helps to make the face look a whole lot more distinct. The last step is practice, practice, practice. I made a free template on my Ko-fi, and I'll link it in the description. I would also provide my own completed version of the practice just as an extra guide and for study purposes. If you do decide to use a template, then I would like you to tag me if you post it on social media, just so I can see the faces that you make. I hope this video helps you overcome same face syndrome. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to stay blessed, have a great day, and bye! Here's just a little side ramble if you stay back. So I think I'm going to start doing voiceover in like the night, because I feel like in the morning everyone is still awake and there's so much noise everywhere, and I get really pissed when a line sounds really good and then I have to retake it because like someone made a noise and it just like disrupted the peace and the the peace and the tranquility of the line, and it's just so annoying. I feel like voiceover will go really quickly for me if I do not have to retake a line like a dozen times, because someone makes a sound, and I want my voiceover to be like flawless. Well, aside the fact that I'm really picky with my lines and the things that I say or the way that I sound saying them, but still my voiceover will be a lot quicker if I do things at night, and I'm going to start doing that because it's just a lot more convenient. And something I did notice is that anytime I use a script for a video, so like I write a script and I stick strictly to the script, then I run out of things to say pretty quickly. And if I should run the video solely on the script, then the video would be like around 3 or 5 minutes long because I wouldn't say much, and I think it would be pretty short and boring. So I just have to go in and add random lines where I just say stuff to like fill in space and make the video run for a whole lot longer. Anyways, bye.